So I want to give you some updates here regarding goings on in the Middle East. Um, so it's been in the news for a little bit now that Houthis, the Iran-backed Shia militants, have been disrupting trade and cargo ships in what they say is a response to Israel's treatment of the Palestinians. They claim they were only going after, or they were going after Israeli ships, but they've gone after, I think, other ships as well. So this is just from a couple days ago, the 17th. Today's the 19th, by the way. U.S. strikes Houthi fighters again amidst continued attacks on ships off Yemen. The U.S. has launched a new retaliatory strike against Houthi targets in Yemen amidst the group's continued attacks on international ships in the area, officials said Wednesday. 5 areas were targeted in the U.S. strike on Yemen: the governance of Hodeidah, Taiz, Damar, Baida, and Saida, the Sana Saba press agency, the Houthi state media claimed. CENTCOM said in a post on X Wednesday night that the strikes targeted 14 Iranian-made Houthi missiles that were loaded to be fired in Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen. These missiles on launch rails presented an imminent threat to merchant vessels and U.S. Navy ships in the region and could have been fired at any time, prompting U.S. forces to exercise their inherent right and obligation to defend themselves, the statement continued. Tomahawk cruise missiles used in the strike were launched from both U.S. Navy surface ships and a submarine, U.S. officials said. Houthi state media claimed the U.S. and the U.K. Blamed the U.S. and the U.K. for the attack. The U.S. is the only country to have acknowledged the strike. Wednesday's strike came after a drone from the Houthi-controlled area in Yemen hit a U.S. flag carrier ship in the Gulf of Aden on Wednesday, U.S. Central Command previously confirmed. No injuries were reported in that incident. And then I want to give you this from CBS News.
Turning now to the escalating tensions in the Middle East. The U.S. conducted its 5th strike on Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. U.S. Central Command says the strikes destroyed 2 anti-ship missiles that were aimed at the Red Sea and prepared to fire. This comes as President Biden is admitting that the strikes on Houthi targets hasn't yet stopped the militants from launching attacks.
Are the airstrikes in Yemen working?
Well, when you say working, are they stopping the Houthis? No. Are they going to continue? Yes.
Just hours after the president spoke, Houthi rebels launched an attack on a U.S.-owned tanker. This comes as fierce fighting continues in Gaza. The Israeli military claims it has killed a senior member of the Islamic Jihad group during an airstrike yesterday. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is rejecting U.S. calls to scale back its offensive against Hamas. He also said that he opposes the establishment of a Palestinian state as part of any post-war scenario. He's joining me.
Okay. So I just wanted to talk about all of that briefly because I've seen a lot of people, mostly on the left, claim that Biden's getting us into an illegal war in Yemen. I think that's misleading because this was sort of an impromptu strike. It wasn't planned, or impromptu strikes. There have been multiple strikes. It wasn't really planned. Obviously, we're not going to have any boots on the ground. We're not attacking civilian dense areas. But having said that, Biden says it's not working. And I could have told him that. I was skeptical of these bombings from the beginning, not because I thought we were getting involved in an illegal war, but because I think the Houthis are the least of our concerns. I don't think the Houthis are going to stop anytime soon because, and I think it's fair to take them mostly at face value on this, that they're responding to Israel's treatment of the Palestinians. And as you saw with the other clip, Bibi does not want to even consider any thought of a two-state solution, any thought of a Palestinian state after the end of the conflict. So he's already saying the conflict's not even over, which he didn't say that in that clip, but other news sources have reported that he wants to extend this conflict to 2025. We're just into 2024, everyone. He wants to go all the way through the end of this year. So the conflict is, according to Bibi, nowhere near over. And he's already saying, nope, no Palestinian state under no circumstances. Okay, this is like, I mean, we're veering on worst case scenario here if we're not already in worst case scenario. Yeah, I mean, if we're to have to decide what's more important, the disruption of global trade or stopping the slaughter in Gaza, I think it's overwhelmingly stopping the slaughter in Gaza. I don't even think it's a close second. And I guess someone could be like, oh, well, we can still do both. I mean, sure, but again, Biden himself is saying this isn't working. This isn't working. And if it's not working, then stop doing it and do the thing that, you know, the whole world acknowledges we need to do. This isn't rocket science here. And, you know, we have some influence when it comes to Israel. We have some influence. We don't have influence when it comes to the Houthis. And like I said, I think they're just such small potatoes. They're such small potatoes. I mean, this was probably, it was an inevitable response to what they're doing. But if the president says it's not working, then I say, call it off.